Hi, folks. So this is not live. I had a scheduling conflict, but I wanted to leave you still with a practice for today. This is, we've been going through various approaches to addressing grief as a primer or preparation for the community ritual on October 15th, which if you're not enrolled for that, there's still time. I'd love to have anyone who feels like, they have a little stuckness around grief or around big transitions that you've been experiencing that you haven't quite had the space to metabolize, or even if you are experiencing what I call the secondary symptoms, so irritability or depression or anxiety that doesn't seem to have a very clear correlation or clear cause. So, yeah, please join if that speaks to you. I'll drop the link in the chat and would so appreciate you sharing with anyone in your sphere who could benefit from a practice like that. In the meanwhile, we'll do a real simple exercise today about addressing grief with psychic energy medicine. Many of you may know I am a psychic, a professional psychic, and I do psychic readings as one of the modalities that I have used to just be okay enough in my body and in my life, and then also what I use to be of service to folks. So some of this will be familiar or kind of a recap of other practices I've shared, because some of them are kind of the always go-to, right? So we'll start with a simple grounding, what we call earth energy and cosmic energy, and then we'll tune in and kind of ask for information about grief in the system and do some clearing around that. Okay. So go ahead and just take a minute to settle in. You can do a little wiggles, a little sighs, get comfortable. And as you settle in, I'll invite you to maybe rub your belly, feel the ground beneath you, wiggle your toes, sense into the pull of gravity on your body. And perhaps with a breath out, can you imagine or just affirm a line of connection between the base of your body, your root, and the center of the earth? So for some, you might imagine that right in your actual physical body. Recently, I've been playing with imagining I could see my energy field just on a screen in front of me and drawing or tracing that line from the base of the body down to the center of the earth. And you may be familiar with this, that this is called the grounding cord. And I'll just say, if there is nothing else that you ever take from particularly the energy medicine work, my hope, my wish is that you would take this one practice. I'll also say, particularly now in this season, that these couple months are fairly turbulent energetically and astrologically. And again, if you do nothing else but just work on this grounding cord technique, then I mean, it's a good start. And just take one or two more breaths out to really just reinforce that line of connection. You might imagine it as a tree root or a waterfall or just a column of light, a tether. Sometimes I see an umbilical cord. Just inviting your body to remember what it's like to be connected to the earth. Ooh, okay. So the second tier is what we call earth energy. So you can imagine the soles of your feet open and as if you could kind of breathe in or drink in from the earth up through the bones of your legs into the bowl of your belly. And that earth energy can kind of pool and swish around and rinse out the belly area, the pelvic bowl, and then flow right back down that same grounding cord, rinsing all the way down. And I often get a sense of earth energy in a real liquid form, like waves coming into the shore, but you might see it or sense it as a color or just a knowingness, or you can just pretend. You can just kind of say that it's happening. Earth energy is one of the primary healer energies, particularly for the physical body. So you can just kind of let your system bathe in that for a few breaths. Feel free to wiggle, move as your soma receives that. And then lastly, we'll do what's called cosmic energy. So you can imagine a sphere of light or one of the celestial bodies, the sun, the moon overhead, and that there was a river of light pouring from that down the back of the body, the back of the spine, filling your energy centers from the back, and then similarly pooling in that bowl of your belly, rinsing, clearing, cleansing. And just for the sake of simplicity, we'll allow that there is kind of another version of the cosmic energy channels, which if you know that, go ahead and practice that. But if not, it's totally okay. We'll just keep it simple. Just imagine that rinsing down and through the grounding cord, just like the earth energy. So all of those combined heaven and earth energies pooling in the belly and then grounding all the way down to the center of the earth. And you could spend as much time as you feel like you have and is useful for you just running these energies. We call this running your energies. So if you want to pause it and just kind of bathe in these for a little longer, feel free to do that. Otherwise, we'll just invite that kind of next phase of focus. So without thinking too hard, I'll invite you to just imagine, to ask your inner wisdom, ask your belly, ask your guides. Where is grief stuck in my system? And just see if you can listen for the first thing that arises It might be a sensation in your body. It might be a word, a memory, an, an image, a color. And without thinking too hard, we'll just invite these three channels of energy to flow in a way that's just right for clearing that stuck grief wherever it is. So go ahead and just ask your inner wisdom, what would be most helpful? More earth energy? More cosmic energy? More grounding? And feel free to trust kind of whatever comes up for you. If you're not sure or nothing does, I'll give a version that you can try and see how that lands. We'll focus on earth energy. So bringing up more earth energy as if to kind of wash it through wherever that grief is stuck, and then letting it release down, right back down into the pelvic bowl, rinsing, clearing, and right back down that grounding cord back to the earth. Just setting the intention that anything that's stuck, any of that grief that's stuck or old or outdated, we could really set the intention around anything, but right now we're focusing on grief. So just letting grief, wherever it's stuck, be kind of washed over with that earth energy. I know we started the earth energy low in the belly, but you can really bring it up anywhere in your system that wants it, that feels like it would be supported by it. So I'll sometimes let it rise in a couple of different waves, up to the belly, and then up to the heart, up to the throat, and then breathing out, rinsing down, rinsing down, rinsing down, down, down. Sometimes I'll even let that earth energy wash all the way up over my head if I'm feeling particularly kind of frazzled or ungrounded or spacey. So wherever that grief shows up, you don't have to explain it. You don't have to even really know what it's about. You don't even have to be actively feeling grief. You can preemptively be moving it through your system just by asking your inner wisdom, where is it stuck? And then just trusting what your inner wisdom shows you or tells you. Just trying it out, right? Even if it feels like you're pretending. Just let that earth energy rise up, wash through, and release. Sometimes I'll find that I don't actually feel the release or the shift until after the fact. So if you aren't noticing anything in this moment, it's totally okay. See if you can just trust that there is something shifting at the subtle level that your body will integrate in its own time. So again, you can feel free to pause the video and continue receiving that earth energy and moving it through as long as you need. And then you can just listen for when your spirit tells you that you're complete for now, which doesn't have to mean you've cleared all the grief that ever existed. But just complete for now. You can ask, am I done? And listen for that yes or no. You can look up on your screen, your clairvoyant screen, and see if you can see that grief anywhere. Or you might just have a knowingness, a felt sense, whatever your spirit does to communicate for you. So I'll invite us now to just release the intention around grief and come back to just those neutral channels. So running some neutral energy through those channels. It might be a golden light or a blue light or water or whatever feels healing for you, whatever's just right for you. Feeling and tuning into that grounding cord for a breath or two. Those earth energy channels, letting them wash through. Cosmic channels, rinsing through. All of it pouring right back down into the earth. Just kind of clearing anything residual from that. And often when I'm doing that, I'll do a little shakedown or a little brush down. A little wiggle so that my physical soma can get a sense of that settling. Okay. And you can come out, blinking your eyes, looking around. You can brush off the crown of your head, anything that's residual there. Okay. So that is our practice for today. I would welcome anyone to share in the chat what you noticed. How was that for you? And yeah, what did you get from that? Okay, so in closing, I'll just remind folks, please join us on the 15th. I also am taking a few more one-on-one clients this fall, and if you've never had a psychic reading, it could be a great time for it. My prices are going up on November 1st. So if you purchase a session in this time, you can use it for up to 6 months. So if the psychic energy medicine work or the somatic work is something that's interesting to you, that you feel like you want a little more one-on-one support for, you have something in particular you want to get unstuck around or find more resource around, consider purchasing a one-on-one session with me. I'd love to work with you. Okay, thanks for practicing with me and have a beautiful day.